Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, do you guys consider yourselves talented, hardworking, both, or neither?
I'm going to say both. And I struggle on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
you know?
The same thing here. I mean, because I say that because it's a learning process for me, you know, even being at the age I am, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And um, and for years, I went just trying to be the artist or just, you know, trying to, it really wasn't about the hustle side.
Mm-hmm.
So the hard work wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
more me doing something that I enjoy to do. But things are changed.
Yeah. And we
So
came up in an era, Q, where a lot of times people that were our influences would tell us to focus on your craft,
right.
focus on one thing and get it together. And then you move on to do this, that, and other. And now we live in an era to where you gotta be everything.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know. So I never paid those people any attention. I never did. Because I knew if I didn't learn how to make beats, I wouldn't have any records.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So therefore, I gotta make these beats if I sat around and just focused on singing, wouldn't have no songs.
Right.
Because when we got started, there were no like producers. Like we was on some learn on the fly type shit. You know what I mean? You know, I became a producer because my producer went to college.
Right.
So I was forced to have to do it. You know, or somebody had to do it. It had to be done. You know. So I don't agree with that focus on one thing. And I'm glad that kids these days aren't just focusing on one aspect.
Right.
I went to Charlotte last summer and I met this artist. And she was like, well, what do you do? And I was like, you know, I guess a better question is, what don't I do? You know what I'm saying? And she was like, well, and she came at me with that logic. Well, I think it's best for me to just be a singer. And I was like, then your ass ain't gonna eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, you do what you want. I'm not here to try to convince you one way or the other. But you're not gonna have many meals thinking like that. Trust me. You know what I mean? So, you know,
I think the industry has changed so much that, yeah, she'll never survive. Because like there's no more, well, I'm sure it still exists a little bit, but that plan where the record labels just throw a bunch of money at somebody and go make me a hit. And then they find that person who can sing and they find that person who can write and they pay them a little bit of the money and then keep the rest. I think those days are almost over.
Oh, without
everybody's making hits at home.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Just like you by themselves, making the beat, writing the song, recording, mixing, mastering, distributing, selling. I mean, you can do everything.
Like artist development is like becoming extinct.
Yeah.
Because a lot of artists are coming into it ready to go.
Right.
Ready to go. I tell these kids, you know, people are getting up at 5 a.m. while you sleeping all day talking about you want to make it. This kid's approaching it with no deal like they have one.
Right.
They're outworking you. And it doesn't matter how well you put your bars together. They're outworking you.
Yep.
You know.
Well, and I think that talent is kind of a misunderstood word in general. Like I don't think that like Adele is a one of a kind.
Right.
Like she's got a beautiful voice. And I'm not trying to downplay anything that she does.
Right.
But I don't think that her vocal cords were designed any differently than anyone else's vocal cords. I think that for whatever reason, at whatever time in her life, she sang and it worked and she stuck with it and it's a muscle. So I think that it she probably wasn't out recording and singing shows with, you know, thousands of people there, but she was probably in the backseat of her parents' car singing. She's probably out at the playground singing. She was just learning. And as she got older, she became great. And we hear her voice and go, oh my gosh, she's an angel. No one sings like that. Well, no one's probably dedicated their life to that. And that's why she is incredible at what she does. And I think that everyone has that ability to do so. If you dedicate yourself and time, you may not hit the same type of note she does, because we all have different voices. You know, like some people would be a bass, some people would be a treble. You know what I mean? And you just have to excel in whatever your capabilities are. But I think hard work develops talent. And I think that we kind of misplaced that hard work that brought us to when we got heard. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting point. That is.
Now, I don't think everybody could.
It's a peanut butter magic show.